I bought this house sight unseen. It's also got this garage. Water feature. Oh boy. Oh man. Oof, what is that? Imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Between the Sharks. Here we are in what's left of, or what used to be, the bathroom in the house at the ranch. She's down, man. Water damage is what killed this thing. It comes from all places, right? They never fixed any of the holes in the roof when they happened, so that was a problem. Also, I can see from this big 4-inch vent pipe up here, that's been leaking down into this wall. This is all basically gone. I put in this stud just in case. This is not a load-bearing wall. It doesn't really do anything, but just for stability's sake, keeping it where it is my goal. Today is kind of exciting. We might be able to start turning a corner here. By turning a corner, I mean, if we get this bathtub out, we can start pulling up all this subfloor, which will show us the rotten joists, which should allow us to start investigating just how we're going to repair all of this. I'm not too terribly worried about any of it, in the sense that I know the foundation wall is right back there. So I'm sure we'll need to fix the rim and band joist and sill plate over there, but we're running about 12 feet to this girder here. This area has sagged a great deal due to the thousands of pounds. It's probably a full ton or more of tile and cement that was in here. It was a 1-inch thick bed, this entire area, plus that blue tile. Plus the tile on the walls, which for these 4 walls was all like this on a 1-inch bed, 3/4 inch bed. It's a lot of cement, it's a lot of tile, it's a lot of weight. And when you add water to that will never dry, that weight pushes down a lot. So anyway, now that the weight's gone, we should be able to repair all the floor joists and lift the floor back up to at least a point where it's a straight line, not like a big whoop-de-doo, you know? All right, let's dive in. Phase 1 of this project is going to be getting this big, heavy cast iron tub out of here, which the floor underneath it is rotten and or gone, so that's going to make it hard to pry out. And we've got the plumbing connected, so I think that's going to be like a Sawzall situation. We're just going to 86 all of that. All this plumbing is old and busted. It's frozen 100 times. We'll probably go back in and run PEX because it's quick, it's easy. There's a whole lot of plumbing to do, although in this house it's extraordinarily simple, so that's good news. But all that really means for right now, though, is we can do some karate to eliminate this stuff and hopefully get this out quickly. I'll find the Sawzall. Sawzall! That's all 3, that's good. All right, dudes and doodads, I don't really have a lot to pry on here because the floor is not great. We're gonna give it a whirl and see if we can get this thing to move. Shove some more pry bars under there and drag it out. You can always cut them, you can always wang them real hard with a sledgehammer, and sometimes they'll break if you, it's kind of like a bell, you got to hit it in the right spot. I don't know what that is, so it would be my preference to get this thing out as a unit, take it over yonder, and move on with our lives. But my preference is not always the way things go. All right. It's not bad. You dig that? Okay. Using the old sledge as a fulcrum. Knock all that crap off. Wi-Fi anyway. That's what we're getting in there to fix, hopefully. How about you? Maybe I won't lose the hammer now. Weighs a ton, but we need that. Somehow I gotta roll it this way without smushing myself. So anything to stand on back there. Sure doesn't look like it. Let's keep on doing what we're doing. That's where we find all the gold. Nope, doesn't look like it. Interesting though, it's hardwood. What? Huh. Alright, I mean it wrestled out, not nearly as bad as I thought. Had some critters living under there, that's pretty normal because they left that size hole in the floor when they put the bathtub over it. But that's hardwood. So again, more evidence that some or all of this used to be the kitchen. We got the black and white tiles that come under this wall, the vent. Like, what's crazy is like there was central heat or air added at some point before this bathroom was redone. There was never an AC unit outside, but there was a furnace underneath. So, you know, maybe we'll take a closer look, see if we find any like AC lines at some point. All right, I'm gonna roll this thing over to get it out the door without murdering myself. All right, 1, 2, oh boy. Maybe we won't do it that way, maybe we'll do it this way. Good gravy. Alright, moving it's not hard, flipping it's going to be a pain. So just can't get it through here. Let's see what falls to the floor here. Maybe. Good gracious. So this whole wall was added. This part may debatably be doing something because it's over a much more solid section of floor. And ceiling joists are technically resting on it, although this was put in under the drywall. So there's drywall on the ceiling, and then they built this underneath that drywall. This, on the other hand, is not doing anything except being in my way. Well, look, hey, I just wiggled it loose. It's already telling me what it wants to do, which is get out of here. That's what we'll do. Get it out of here. All right, buddy. It's like the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Turn loose. Yeah. I'm doing nothing. Come on. Now we're talking, maybe. Thinking about talking. Talking about talking. Huh. Yeah. Alright, googly moogly. Pull with your back. Yeah. Karate. Gee whiz.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Sometimes it's best to stop and think, what would the Egyptians do?
Walk like an Egyptian.
And you go, ah, I got it. But where do I get an army of slaves? Then you have to think past that and be like, well, what else would they do? And so I found 2 curtain rods laying around from these closets that we demoed. So I got one under the front, one under here. And now I can kind of roll it. See what I'm saying here? It should help get us far enough to get it out of here. Hopefully. Redneck CrossFit. Also, if you need to, you can use a 500-pound cast iron bathtub to check the integrity of other parts of your floor. That part's pretty great, barely moved. Okay. So I did get a new joist under as far as this one. So it's time to clean all the leaves and debris out. Is that another bone? Jeez. That's a long, it's a very, very old, very brittle bone, but I mean, this wasn't as so much an abandoned house when I bought it, but like an abandoned wildlife refuge. There were a couple cats around when I got the place, kind of feral cats, but all the critters, they were dead a long, long, long time. So yeah, all right. Clean this mess up. Finally, the shower curtain came down when this whole wall decided to move. It's fine. I was leaving it up there because it's a splash of color. Here we go. All right, I think we're at the next phase, whatever that is. I threw a stud in right here. It's just screwed in next to this thing to keep it from wiggling around too much. It is landed on earth. This crawl space is right around, I don't know, 2.5 feet deep, something like that. So if I go through the floor, hopefully, you know, it doesn't. I'm most likely to just rack myself on a floor joist. But speaking of floor joist, you can see that that's all kind of rotten. It's been rained on. But here again, we have the tile squares right there, which is interesting because those things are clearly under this plywood sheet. So it's giving me kind of a better idea of the shape of the kitchen that once stood here. I don't really know. I still don't know what the boundaries of it might have been or how exactly it was laid out, but you know, there's a hole for sinks. There's another one right there. There's this stuff. I'm assuming it runs under here. I don't know if it runs all the way to this or not. But the chunk of space between that load-bearing wall and that load-bearing wall is 10 by 10. So it's reasonable to imagine that could have been a small kitchen in a one-room kind of area. And maybe there was a small bathroom in here. Maybe the plumbing below the house is going to give us a better clue. I've been under there, but not trying to. I was in and doing what I need to do and out, you know. When you're hanging out with the spiders and critters and stuff, you're not thinking, I wonder where this plumbing used to go. But I'm thinking it now. So I think I'm going to start by trying to demo this side. This is the more stable side, so we'll work our way from the rotten stuff toward the stable stuff so that I can continue to move material to where it's safe, you know? Yeah. Another clue. Before I even get started, I just realized what I'm looking at here. And it looks like maybe like a frame out for a window or something. Like that used to be an exterior wall, but the way that that's kind of got a header, it was sort of done right with a king stud and a jack stud, and then I guess it was covered up and then boarded over. Mysteries. But what I was looking at was making sure the verticals holding up that section of roof are still decent. The ones that aren't, I've kind of braced from that load-bearing wall sort of across all these ceiling joists, and this stuff is okay. So it's sketchy looking, but I feel safe doing what I'm doing. You know, that's what I'm getting after. That's interesting too. That suggests that tile was put over the hardwood. So who knows when that renovation happened. Crazy. Let's have a chat here, gang. So water damage over 70 plus years is gonna be what it's gonna be, but what we have here is floor joists on 2-foot centers. So I sistered this one in just for safety. That one's kind of falling apart, but they're still landing where they need to land, right? Weight is still being transferred to a thing that's transferring the weight to earth. But over here, well, this side's all rotten off, and I thought, well, dang, that's pretty bad. But the water damage coming in from the vent pipe is not responsible for them cutting the floor joist and not moving another one around it. Like, yeah, it didn't fall down, but it's where I'm standing is sagging really bad. And if you consider that there's a 500-pound bathtub, and were you to ever fill that with water that weighs 8.6 pounds a gallon, it's a lot of weight, you know? So anyway, it still held up, but that particular wound was directly related to the renovation that happened here. Some of the sagging is due to that particular error that they could have done. You know, they could have added more support while they were diving in here to do this, but maybe they just cut everything out from the top and said, all right, we're done. Well, we are making progress, headway, whatever you want to call it. Man, there's just a lot going on here. Mostly a lot of not good, but it's fine. Not like we were trying to salvage any of it or expected anything different. The only thing that's really the part that I'm not fully understanding is this big vent pipe is also, you know, it's a wet vent, I guess, because the tub and whatever sink used to be over here is what I imagine that line is, drain into it, but then the toilet drains in over there, which they must connect underground somewhere. And then somewhere along the way, you see it? There's that PVC drain out. So somebody's been in here at some point since PVC was invented, which is great. And yeah, so we've got basically, we just need to figure out exactly how the sewer is really gonna run in this joint. So we may be digging between those two just to figure out what's going on, because they must connect somewhere under there, right? Sure. I'm beat. I think it's time to go empty the truck, refill all the water bottles, and then we'll come back and see if we can just hit this super hard right here at the end. It is labor intensive, and at some point these diagonal pieces are going to get in better and better shape, so we're going to have to run a saw along them this way just to at least break them under this stud wall. All right, it's time to clear some more space. Start working that way. Crawl space is a mess, but we have so much to remove from down there. What I'm seeing is craziness. I did fall through once, so man, I thought I knew what I was doing, but stepped on a weak part and down I went. But I am okay.